You probably saw in a previous video that we've still got some potato plants in a raised bed outside, and they've been in there ages, but they're starting to go yellow now, and some of the leaves are actually turning black. So I'm a bit dubious about what the potatoes are going to look like below, if any, because we always seem to have the same problem with red potatoes. They get a lot of scab, although when you peel them there's still a perfectly good potato underneath. And the only way we're going to find out if we've got something worth keeping or not is to dig them up. So that's what we're going to do right now. So you can see that these plants, some of them don't look too bad, but that one's a bit worse for wear, and they're starting to get these black marks on them as well. For that reason, I'm going to take them up and see whether we actually got anything out of these, or were they better in containers. So we'll just pull them up and see what we get. That's what I was worried about. Loads of scab. Possibly enough on there to make it not really edible. I'll still peel it and try and find out though. It looks like they've all got it pretty bad, so I might have looked out on these. And there's also only a few underneath. Let's try this one. Same again. And again, a nice big one, but really covered with that scab. Same again. They're a good size. Are they usable? We'll find out shortly. That's the minging seed potato I've just squished. And again, not much or anything else in this bed. 3 or 4 per plant if we're lucky. Well, that's the cleanest one we've had yet. And then back to the scab. Even bigger one there. And another. And it looks like that's it. Well, to be honest, that's quite disappointing. Covered in scab. And it makes it even worse that they're such big potatoes as well. So maybe they've just been left in ground too long. And considering the raised bed had about 6 plants in it, we didn't get many potatoes either. So as far as I'm concerned, it's all containers next year. No more outside, because every time I put them outside, that happens. Question is, are they still edible? Let's peel one. So let's find out if these taters are edible at all, or whether that raised bed has been a complete failure. Well, I'm going to try that one because that looks the worst. Well, what started off as being quite a big potato is getting smaller by the second. And there's your problem. It's not just at that side, it's going straight through this potato. So, personally, I wouldn't eat that potato. So that's a complete fail. So, I can only assume that the rest are going to be the same. Obviously something's been eating its way inside. To be honest, I don't really need to see any more than that. So, I'll not bother peeling anymore. Well, as I said, the plants were looking a little bit dodgy. They've been in ground for a very long time. And we always seem to have problem with scab, with reds. And that's why normally we put them in containers. This is the second year that I've put them in ground. And I have moved them to different places to do that. And that's always happened. But this year is the worst one I've ever seen. As far as I'm concerned, these potatoes are completely unedible. So that's wasted space in a raised bed. The extra compost that we added to that bed to grow these potatoes and feed has all been soaked out of that bed. So it'll still need completely amending, and we got nothing in return. But these things happen, and it's a lesson learned. I knew last year a similar thing happened. The year before a similar thing also happened. But pretty much most of the potatoes, just over half, did end up being usable. This time it's 100% nothing. So what we'll be doing before spring next year is getting some of those big 30-litre black containers. And I think you get them from Allotment Gardens. And they're not expensive. They're probably about £4 per pot. But a 30-litre pot will hold a lot of potatoes. And it'll solve that problem. And you're not going to have as many bugs crawling around your container as you would do in ground. And they're not as susceptible to changing weather because you can move them to suit. So these will get binned and we'll move on with a fresh idea for next year to grow potatoes a lot better. So let's face it, they couldn't have been any worse. Anyway, thank you very much for watching this video, really appreciate it. And if you want to see what else we grow in this greenhouse through autumn and winter, then please just hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and we'll see you next time. You all take care.